for the people podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we, and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. Positive thinking people, positive thinking people. Good evening, welcome. As you know, I get excited every time that I come on the air. It is Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday is when I try to bring something to you that's going to help empower you, to motivate you to change your life in a positive way. Get you so that you'll start doing things that's going to make you have inner peace, some peace of mind. So with that said, what I'd like to do is introduce to you my guest, Miss Linda Green. How you doing, Linda?
Hi, Mr. Rodney. How are you?
I'm blessed. And so far, how's your day going?
Day's been great. Looking forward to this event here to help out your followers to see how we can give them that peace of mind.
So that's one of the things that I was really, really excited about when we met. And kudos out to why I'm going Paul.
Okay.
Paul Connector. Okay.
Right.
That's actually where we met at the networking event.
Correct. That is correct.
Yes. And so when you was telling us pretty much what you do, I said, this is a young lady that we definitely want to have some connection with, because you help people get their life in order. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. We help you with estate planning, wills, durable power of attorney, healthcare directives. With the legal services that we offer, it's a complimentary or free portion of the membership that we offer to our members.
And so when you say, and I've heard you say it a couple of times, you said free?
I said free. What we do is educate our members to be able to access a law firm for any issue that they feel is a legal matter, or maybe they just felt they were mistreated unfairly for whatever reason. And with our subscription model that we offer, that's one of the benefits that we offer our members is instead of you paying the average will, a lot of people don't get their wills done because it costs $1,500 to $2,000 for an individual or couple. And we feel everyone needs to have their, I say, house in order. So that way your family's not dealing with the state, because the state has a plan for you, but that's not the plan you want for your family.
So when you do this, do you do step-by-step assistance with the individuals?
I provide them with a access to a law firm, and then the law firm will walk them through. So I mainly has people-to-people, a connector. So I connect people that are looking for legal services to a law firm. The way our services work, we're nationwide throughout North America, so throughout the U.S. and Canada. And depending on the state where you live, there's a law firm that will be associated to that state. And all you do is pick up the phone or tap an app, because we've modernized with technology right before COVID. And you just call the law firm and say, I need advice on, and tell them that you need advice on getting your estate planning or your will done, your health directives done. And then they'll ask you questions, send you a questionnaire, and then they'll follow up until it's the way you want it. Okay.
And so with individuals whom may need your services, how would they get in touch with you?
You could go to my website, which is legalplans4, spelled out, FORU, spelled out, YOU.com. And then you can see information for a family standpoint, either an individual or family, or if you're running a small business, we offer plans to protect your business also.
Okay. And so if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been providing this free service?
I've been providing this service actively probably like the last 11 years or so. So mainly helping out people and going to networking events, letting people know, networking with insurance agents. A lot of times you'll have life insurance agents where they ask their clients, here's our checklist. And one of the things is to get your will done. And then when they come back on a follow-up, a lot of times it's not done because of the cost. We should never let the cost dictate our legal rights. As we all know, and has written on the Supreme Court, is equal justice for all. But we all know the equal justice is based on how much money do you have to afford it.
Right.
So the people with low income, they tend to have legal aid. And I kind of found that out, not really knowing what legal aid was when I was younger. And then they said, oh, you make too much money. And even though it's all relative. And then on the other end, you have the wealthy where they don't do anything without having a lawyer review their documents before they sign things, or they could question them and get advice, and they can afford to pay it. But for everyone else in between, in the middle, our average average attorney is around $350 to $450, depending on what the subject matter is. And what we provide is something that's economical and within a budget that anyone should be able to get, just to access, just to get the advice you need.
That's one of the things that I think that many of us who may not be financially stable in certain areas find themselves in a struggle to reach out because of the finances.
Exactly.
Which would intimidate them.
Exactly. That's why we try to take the finance part off. Like I've used it for a traffic ticket, a moving violation. For those in the DMV area, we know we have the police sitting at certain corners at certain times of the month. And I got caught on East Capitol Street going towards Prince George's County, going 41 miles when the speed limit was 35. So we also know that for moving violations, when you get a ticket and you pay for it, then you get points. So then you're paying those points, which increases your insurance over the next 2 to 3 years. With our services, depending on which, we have 3 different plans, but I'm mainly focused on the one in the middle. You could call the law firm and send them a copy of your ticket. They'll assign you a traffic attorney, and then they could go to court for you for a small fee. And the goal is not get the points, because if you don't have the points, then your insurance doesn't go up. So it's more about, we're all working hard for the dollars we're making. The goal is to try to keep as much of our money as we can as life happens to us.
Yeah. I actually had a situation traveling from South Carolina, and ended up getting a ticket and had to go back to North Carolina.
See, with our service, you wouldn't have to go back, because let's say you live in Maryland, you will be assigned the Maryland law firm. And then if you had that ticket, you could take a screenshot of that ticket, upload it on the app on your phone, or wait till you get back home and send it to them. The law firm will then call the law firm in South Carolina, and then they will go represent you, and you can stay here in Maryland, taking care of your affairs that you have in Maryland, say. And then hopefully you get the phone call saying, Mr. Grimes, got good news and bad news. The good news is they throwing your case out, no points on your record. The bad news is you just have to pay the court costs. And That's a lot, that's less expensive than paying the fine and then watching your insurance go up.
And I just to get a little personal, what caused you to get into this business?
I had a legal situation where I couldn't afford an attorney at $450 an hour. This was about maybe 10, 15 years ago. So they were expensive then, and they're still expensive today. I couldn't afford that, but with the membership, just like healthcare, you pay a certain premium or monthly cost, and some things are covered 100% and others are covered at a copay amount, or that 50%, 40%. So we offer something with a 25% discount with our middle plan. And so instead of me paying the $450 an hour for the attorney, I only had to pay $150 an hour. And so I was able to provide the retainer amount for 10 hours, which was $1,500. They represented me in court. I went to work at that time. And when everything was done, they just gave me the update that, okay, I won my case. So now we could go through the next steps. So it allowed me to continue to work while they represented me in court without me having to be there.
And so that inspired you to be able to
share it with others. So I was able to save $3,000, and between, if I had paid the original $4,500 and with the discount, I was able to save $3,000, and that allowed me to continue to live my life doing what I needed to do while the lawyers were doing what they do best.
I'm going to take you down another lane for a minute.
Okay.
Now, where we are in this day and time, do you find many people like us not able to really understand the importance of insurance and wills and things of that nature?
Yes. Studies have shown that 10 out of 10 of us will need it because we're all going to go see our maker one day. But 7 out of 10 of us, mainly of people of color, we do not have our house in order. We don't have the will, the living will, the healthcare directive, or the durable power of attorney. For those that feel that they may want to trust, we have a plan, our top plan, that will help you create the trust. Because when it comes down to it is that once you're 18, you're an adult in the eyes of the law. And so a joke that I do, because my nephew has this service, but the joke that I do is he went to sleep at 17 the day before his birthday, and when he woke up the day after the day of his birthday, he's 18. At that point, the parents are no longer can make the decision for that 18-year-old, even though they are not at they're not at the state of mind yet with life.
Right.
But yet they may be out driving because they have their license. They're out with their friends. Bad things happen to good people, or they could be in the wrong place at the wrong time. With this membership, if you're ever being detained by the police or questioned by the police, you can let them know, show them a card, let them know that you have this membership, and then, or you could call your attorney, because we do offer 24/7 emergency access for those kind of situations.
That's good. That's good. One of the things that I've tried to do over the years, and that is to empower individuals, and like yourself, have you come onto the People Park talk show, and try to give people information, understanding. You know, if you do the same thing, you get the same results. Now, many of us who do the same thing only do it because that's a comfort zone.
Correct.
Sometimes coming out of the comfort zone, we don't know how to do it. But it is good that we have individuals like yourself who say, hey, it's okay. I can help you. Right. I can show you. So for everyone who possibly just joined in, as you know, this is People to People, is Motivation Monday. And my guest is Miss Linda Green. She's a young lady who cares about trying to make you be able to move a little better in your life. And it's not so much where what you do, Miss Green, where you're saying, hey, this is a right or wrong. All you're saying is, hey, let's just get things in order.
Exactly. And different things happen. Like I've had the speeding ticket. I had a situation where I hired a contractor. I had a short in one of the bid rooms where the lights and the outlets weren't working. So I called an electrician to come fix it. They fixed it for $350, which I thought was reasonable. But then it went out before 30 days. So it went out before the warranty expired. So when I try to call them back, long story short, they decide that I need to rewire. It's like, no, I don't think I need to rewire. I just need this bedroom fixed. And so I ended up hiring another electrician. They found where the short was, fixed it, and then I asked for my money back. And they didn't want to give me my money back. So I will work with you. So I do a 3-strike rule. So I worked with them, emailed them, called them, and I guess never got a response back. So when I did it the third time, it's like, let me just call the law firm. I don't need to be frustrated and aggravated anymore about this. Called them, told them the situation, sent them all the documentation that they asked for, And then they wrote a letter on my behalf to the electrician company. And then the next day, I got my check put in the mail. So sometimes if you feel like you're being taken advantage of or is treated unfairly, call the law firm, let them know what to say I need advice on whatever that situation is, and then let them guide you through what is best based on the law. Now, sometimes you may think what you want the law to be, but the law is not what it is. So you get a chance to get the advice you need, and it didn't cost you anything extra outside your membership, but at least you know where you stand, even though you may not like the answer, but you were able to get that advice without it costing you an arm and a leg per se.
I mean, again, this is for the viewers. This is very, very important for them to know, because we never know what may take place. But speaking about having a will is very, very important because we all know that one day, we just don't know when, but we all will transition.
Right.
Some of the things that make it so much easier is when the individuals who moved on, if they left everything in order, it's easier for them to mourn the loss.
Correct.
So a lot of times we have individuals who may not really understand the importance of it. So when you reach out to individuals, how do you really encourage them to come in and say, look, I can help you so that it's going to be an easy process for you, because this is something like this is going to happen, sooner or later?
Mainly, I just talk to them, do it from a consultant standpoint, try to find out what they're looking for. And based on how they answer various questions on our services, we'll guide them towards the plan that will be best for them. And when it comes to the will, I tend to provide the sample questionnaire so you can kind of see what kind of questions are being asked. Because sometimes, because it requires you to start thinking we're not invisible. I mean, and we're all going to go at one time or another. And sometimes that's hard to think about for yourself, especially if you're young. But if you have children under 18, you definitely want to have something in place, because you don't want them to have to get caught up in the child services system, or the foster system, because there's nothing in place and no one knows which aunt, uncle, friends, family member, godparents are going to take care of your kids, because it's more than just taking care of them emotionally. It's like sorry about that. So especially if you have minors, everyone needs one, but if you have children, really have something in place so that way it is your wishes that will be carried on for your minor children versus the state's.
That's so again, as I was saying, that's so important for individuals to know. And again, we have Katrina, Prof. Katrina. She says, how about life insurance policies?
Okay, we focus only on the legal services, but because of networking events where I met someone like Mr. Rodney here, Mr. Grimes, I meet other people that are in professional services. So I can provide a referral recommendation of a few people, depending on what area you're looking at, and then that will be between you and them. But I am not involved in life insurance directly.
Okay. So your main focus is with the wills and the trust.
And legal services, whether it's just getting advice, getting documents reviewed, or anything that's not covered under what we would say preventive, like healthcare and auto, then you pay the discount, depending on.
Yeah. So early on, you said y'all provide a free service, right?
The will is free when you get the membership. So you will always have to get a membership subscribe to the membership, but it's no contract. We just recommend that people use it over a 12-month period. And to offset costs, if cost is an issue, we do offer something like, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with, perks, where you can get a lot of discounts from brand name stores. So because we protect over 4.5 million people throughout the United States and Canada, we offer what we call member perks, where you can get discounts for traveling, hotels, rental cars, sporting events, clothing, a lot of other things. And a lot of time, the discounts you're saving from doing your day-to-day activities offsets the monthly cost.
It's more. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So again, for those who may be just joining in, this is Miss Linda Green. She is an individual who networked with you and kind of the middle person, we would say, right?
Yes.
Say, hey, you know what? You may not know a good lawyer. You may not know a person who could put a will or talk to you about a trust. And then you will put yourself in the position to say, hey, I will bring y'all together and make sure there's a good fit. And then that's when you just back out.
Yes, that's correct. Because we have dedicated law firms. We have a proprietary network of law firms around the country, depending on your state. And so they service the members that have our different memberships.
That is good. Again.
And then I become a contact for them. So like if they have issues or problems, they can reach out to me. And then I'll try to help them, because we do hold the law firms accountable. So sometimes it could just be you don't gel with that lawyer that's assigned for your situation. Maybe it's contract law today. Maybe it's buying a house and a different kind of law, traffic law, and things like that.
That's really, really some good information. Going forward, as we may understand, we're going through a different change within society. A lot of us are not understanding where we have to have everything in order for us to be able to say, hey, it's not just about the individuals themselves, but it's for your family members and people who are, there to take care of your wishes and things of that nature. So Harold says, what type of a will is she talking about? What is the difference between a living will versus trust?
Since I'm not a lawyer, I don't know the full details of that. So I'm going to say the standard will that you may find if you went out and Google. So you'll find something online, or you go to Staples and they offer a will document and you pull that out. Where the difference is, some lawyer wrote that document, but is that document written to protect you for your situation and then for the laws in your state? So sometimes you'll have people like, okay, I have a will here. You can use my will to do it because they don't want to pay the cost. But then when that person transitioned, the will that the person that gave you the will, let's say, was from Maryland. Family member gives it to you. They have their will. They give it to you from Maryland. You're living in New York. So the person in New York takes your will and make a copy of it, not realizing the laws in New York are different. And therefore, when that person transitioned, even though the family members thought that person had a will, they really didn't have one because it didn't follow the laws of New York.
So, and I've heard about trust.
Right.
So the trust is actually, isn't that better than having a will?
From my personal experience, I'm going to say yes. With the will, you're identifying what you're leaving behind and everything like that, but you're also going to go through probate, is my understanding. And with probate, everything is public information. So anyone can go to the probate division of the courthouse, look up anybody's information and see what's there. So if you have some assets, maybe you have some real estate, you have some financial accounts, all that information is disclosed through probate. With the trust, it keeps everything private. So you can, at our top plan, you can have a trust and they can work through the beginning parts of that trust for you. And it keeps your information private. You tend to avoid probate only if you are able to take your assets. So like, let's say I have a trust. Let's say I have a bank account that's in my name, Linda Green, but my trust, let's just say it's Linda Green Trust. If I don't retitle that bank account to say Linda Green Trust, then Linda Green by itself bank account will go through probate because it's titled in my name, while anything else that was titled in Linda Green Trust will not go through probate. So a lot of people will get the trust created, but then they don't do what they call funding the trust, which is retitling your house, retitling your assets. So now it all falls under the umbrella of the trust.
Yeah. And as I said, as many people that I've had some conversation with, they are more so, they have their will, but they then go to the side where they want to do a trust. And they said it's so much better. And it's also, in a way, it protects people from being able to go and say, well, I want to protest. I want to fight the will.
Right. Because you don't have to file your trust at probate or open up a probate case with your trust.
That's some good information.
Yeah.
So now,
but again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just going based on what I know. I just want to disclaim that.
Yeah. So again, the services that you provide is something that's very unique, and it's amazing that some people who may not really know. Is it possible for them to be able to just call you and just have a one-on-one conversation for you to educate them?
Oh yeah, that'll be fine. They can call or email, and we could give that information out. The company, the headquarter company, is been around for 53 years. So over time, as we have grown, we've been able to provide all this information over time. So it's not like we just started today. So we already know it works. And again, we have 4.5 million members using it. We have about 140,000 small businesses. But just like your personal life, if you have a family business or you just building a business, and then you got to look at your succession planning. So similar conversations have to happen on your business side. How do you want your business to continue going forward? And you can bounce these ideas off the law firm. So we have different plans for people that run their own business.
And what's the name of the company?
The company is PPLSI, and the services is Legal Shield, and the sister service is ID Shield, because we all have, a lot of times your identity, everyone knows about identity theft. A lot of people will say that they already have that in place because their bank offers them the service or they get it from their job. But sometimes the service doesn't cover your full digital footprint. So like during COVID, yeah, you may have lost your credit and froze your credit because we've had so many data breaches for the last 10, 15 years. So your data is all over the place. So just imagine someone buying 5 cents to get your name, 10 cents to get your social, 20 cents to get your phone number, and then they have your identity. And that's what you're trying to protect. So during COVID, someone upgraded my iPhone 6 to a 12, which was, I'm getting an upgrade, but I didn't do it. And the scammers are at the point now where they mimic that I'm with AT&T. So they mimic that they were with AT&T, called me, went through all this. And for whatever reason, I later then called AT&T to find out that no, they changed all your settings because they were able to get my password with all the breaches. And they bought the phone at a Walmart that doesn't do a credit check. So that's how that was able to happen. And then like 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from an auto dealer in Fairfax County. We're just calling to confirm that you are here trying to buy a car. It's like, no, I'm at home. And so it's like, can you call the police for the person that's trying to pretend they're me to buy a car? And they said, no, we can't do that, but we just need to confirm that you are buying this car, and you're telling us that you're not, because now I have that extra information in my credit file to say, reach out to me because I've been a victim of identity theft.
Yeah.
So it's hard. And what we do is use licensed private investigators that will do the research for you. So again, a lot of times things happen and we're trying to go to work, and we don't want to have to use our time off to take care of legal matters or deal with all the things that are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So having the law firm help you with that, or the investigators helping you with your identity theft, then that can save you time so you can continue to do what you need to do.
That's so good. Again, for all those who may just be coming in, I say welcome, welcome, welcome to you. My guest is Miss Linda Green. Miss Linda Green is a young lady who provides a service to help you get your life in order, meaning as far as a will, a trust. And when I say she helps you, she puts you in the right direction. You're almost like the individual who's controlling the traffic. You know, you're not giving tickets and things like that, but you can tell them when to come and go this direction or whatever.
Right.
And 9 out of 10, when you right there in that situation, you already know it's traffic down there. So you telling them to go this way.
Yeah, we want that green light.
You want that green light.
Green light straight through within the speed limit.
That's right. And so with all that said, you know, again, this is some of the things that people we need to really to understand the importance. Harold Hughes, he says, is there a time set to make changes in your will before you transition to be legal?
I do not know, but again, we have plans where you can update your will once a year. So if situation happens, like a good case would be, things are what they are, but a good example is John Singletary. He's the movie filmmaker that did Boys in the Hood. Supposedly, he had his documents in place, but then another child came along later. That child did not get into those documents because we don't go back and update. Sometimes, as my mother would say, is that her aunt used to tell her when she was younger, is make sure you update your beneficiaries, whether it's on your bank accounts, retirement accounts, whoever you have in your documents, because if you get separated or divorced, the person that you were with may not be who you want to have your assets and whatever you're leaving behind. And the same with young people. There are situations where you're a single mom raising your kid, and because the young adult doesn't have the documents in place, if something should happen, and unfortunately, let's say they transition, all of a sudden the parent that was not in their life can come back and claim some of their money. So there's been cases of that happening. And so I just kind of stress, it's a hard conversation to have, especially with young people, because I know when we're young, we're not going anywhere. We have our life full ahead of us. But the common things with young adults is being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and or with their friends and cars and accidents. And then you don't know how your world changes because you don't have that healthcare directive in place. You don't have the durable power of attorney so that you can access their accounts. A lot of the accounts, we may have our beneficiaries on there, but that only applies when we die. It doesn't help us when we're incapacitated. So you need that durable power of attorney. Same with the trust. We have our trust and we retitle everything, and people will talk about transfer on death, other things that are less expensive, which is great. Rather have something than nothing. But then again, what happens when you're incapacitated? There's more likelihood of us being incapacitated throughout our lives before we transition. And if we don't have things in place, your loved ones can't get access to your assets to keep things in place.
Right. again, these are for those who are tuning in. This is very, very important information. We got to start having everything in order. You have to have your ducks in order because we don't never know what's coming next. A lot of us assume we will go to bed and say, I'm going to wake up in the morning, but we really don't know. And being prepared doesn't mean that you're looking to transition, but it's just saying, you know what? I want to do the things that's going to make it easy for those who are left behind.
Yeah, I like to call it your last love letter to your loved ones.
I love that.
Having your house in order. It's your
I
last
love
love
that.
Mm-hmm.
Your last love letter.
Yep.
I hope you don't mind. I'm a thief now. I'm going to tell you.
Use, rinse, and repeat.
I'm going to let the people know. I'm going to say, look, you got to write that last love letter, and you got to do it as a will or a trust. And Miss Linda Green is the one that shared that with me, because a lot of times when people have a little slogan or something, I carry it on. And I always want people to take things very serious. We have to. You know, it's just real funny here. I'll be 65 next year. I mean, not next year, next month. And in my time getting a little older, I start to find out how important conversations like what we're having is to be held in families.
Correct.
We don't really think about what happens when someone transitions, and nobody talks about anything other than the fact that now all of a sudden everyone wants to be in charge. Everyone wants to take this, or this was supposed to go to me. I was supposed to get that, you know, and this is where the confusion comes into play. Having a situation where you have individuals like yourself who can say, hey, come to us, join our organization so that you'll be prepared. Because a lot of times when people do transition mentally, you're not there.
Exactly. I'd watched my mom do it for a few of her siblings. Some had their house in order, some did not. And then they're out of state. My mom's up in the Maryland DMV area while the homestead is down south. And so just watching what she's gone through over the few decades as we're handling family members' estate, it takes a while, you know, and then watching what she's going through now with my dad unexpectedly passing 3 years ago. Because they had their house in order, the transition of everything was easier for my mom to handle while she is dealing with the loss of her husband.
You know, and I'm kind of getting ready to say something that probably is going to shock quite a few people. So my mom just transitioned a little over a year ago in 2023.
Sorry.
December 14th. And I mentally was preparing myself to say, okay, I know my mom's getting ready to pass. My mom was 92 years old. And where I'm going with this is my mom had a will and she left one of my siblings in charge. During the process of all this, a lot of information comes and moves around. People who do not understand the importance of a will and a trust gets in their feelings. Then they start thinking crazy things, doing crazy things that causes havoc. Just recently, during the process of the things coming together with the information from my mother, I realized the importance of the will and having someone to be able to take care of things properly so that the family can still move on.
Correct.
And we really, it's so funny. It's almost like many of us have, I don't have time for that. That's not important right now. But when the time comes, it actually become a priority, and it's very important because now everybody is looking, what is it for me? What am I getting? Why I didn't get this? Or why are they getting this and I'm not?
Right.
All of these things can be answered and taken care of with a will and a trust.
Yeah, and you could do it all as a family. I know when my parents started looking at putting the trust in place, there's this one sheet. It's kind of funny now. There's this one sheet that was just list of items, who's going to get what. Well, as I'm saying, okay, I want this, and my sister saying she wants that, and we just had pages of it. That's when you started looking like, oh, I didn't know my sister wanted the family pictures. She never talked about it, growing up. But then when it came to who wants what and whatever, it's like, oh, well, I want some of the family pictures. Like, oh, since when did you were interested? You just don't know what family members are interested in because it just doesn't come out of certain situations. So when you're doing it as a understanding as a family, then you can see what happened because you'll have families that everyone's close, but then when someone transition, all of a sudden they're not talking anymore because someone wanted this and they didn't get that or whatever. If everything's in writing, God willing, everyone honors that person's wishes and just follow what's written down. And then hopefully that keeps peace in the family and everyone just has their new normal that they start working for.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that is just amazing that we're having this conversation because I know quite a few individuals whom are dealing with the loss of a loved one. Some of them didn't have a will, and it was chaos. And when they realized that it wasn't will, um, people started pulling rank. But then those who I know who had everything in order, I always think about my in-laws. When my mother-in-law passed away, I've never seen a situation where everything was right. It was just done. Mm-hmm. Everything. I mean, from beginning to the end, and it was no dispute, no discomfort, and everyone knew exactly what my mother-in-law wishes were, and it was just amazingly peaceful.
Yes.
And I just think that when people transition, the last thing they want, at least I'm hoping, is for the family to be feuding over a lamp or a ring or a necklace or just little things that you can't take with you.
Exactly.
So it is so important for many of us to understand communication among us of the living, to have a will. They call it a living will, correct?
There's a mixture of will, living will. Again, I'm not the lawyer, so I never really, I'll have to do some more research into understand the differences of that.
Yeah. So again, for everyone who just possibly tuned in, Miss Linda Green she's the connector. I'm taking Paul's name, but she's the connector. She's the one that helps you to say, hey, you talk to me and let me know. I can get you connected with the right person in the legal aspect to be able to help you move forward. Is that correct?
Correct. We'll connect you to our proprietary network of law firms. So depending on the state you live in, then we'll recommend this will be the law firm that's dedicated to that state for all the members that live in that state. And then some of the services will work where if you have activities that cross state lines, interstate for whatever reason, then they can assist you across state lines. So they'll refer you to the law firm that supports the other state.
And if anyone, again, wanted to get in touch with you personally, how would they do so?
For right now, I'm going to stay with the email, so that way I can control that a little bit better. So it will be info@legal, LEGAL, plans, plans for FORUYOU.com. So it'll be info@legalplansforyou.com.
Okay. And then what they can do is get in touch with you, tell you their situation, you evaluate it, and then you help them by putting them in the right direction with
Correct.
the right legal assistance.
Right. So I will connect them to the law firm. So what I usually do is I will get their information, and then I'll, depend on how they like to receive information, I could send them either a flyer about our services, talk to them, work with them, show them a video about our services, and then as they're ready to move forward, then we'll move forward and go from there.
It is definitely, it was definitely, to me, this is something that I'm taking very, very serious. Again, as I told you just, I say just recently, but it was a little over a year or so that my mom transitioned. I've had other people to transition, like my mother-in-law and brother-in-law and cousins and, aunts and uncles.
Right.
But it's something when it's somebody really, really close to you.
Exactly.
And that's when you'll find that things are so much different. And you'll find sometimes that you really, really need that legal advice to help you to manage your emotions.
Yeah, because you're in a situation where you're not thinking clearly because you're dealing with a loss. And then other things have to be put in place, or you have to transact on certain things, but you're not sure if that's the right thing to do. So why not have the law firm that you could just call up and say, I need advice on whatever that is. And again, even though we spent most of the time talking about wills and trusts and durable power of attorney and healthcare directive, this applies for anything in life. It's your everyday life. This is a service where a lot of times you don't want to use your auto insurance because you know that's going to raise your rates. You pray that you don't have to really use your healthcare insurance. But with the legal services that we offer, we want you to be proactive, be in control, empower yourself. So that way, whatever the situation is, just know what your rights are.
Yeah. And that's so, so important for us in this day and time. As we move forward into the future, and I'm not going to go into another direction, but certain individuals didn't have the knowledge.
Right.
Okay. And so those individuals who didn't have the knowledge, they are the ones who sit back and become frustrated when they're put in a position and say, oh, I wish we had a will. I wish we had a trust. And so again, this is something that people of color don't sit at the table and have dinner and say, hey, let's talk about making sure that there's a will done. Or let's talk about, one of the things that my wife and I, we talk many times with our kids, and we try to give them the insight on what we want them to do. But not all the time do everybody follows the rules and regulations or follow your wishes.
Exactly.
It's funny, after you transition, you tell them, I want this done. And then after you're not there, they want to do it their way.
Yeah. So again, hopefully they will respect what was put in writing by the person, the loved one. And you may not like what's there, but respect the wishes of the loved one with that last love letter that they left behind for you to try to make it easier on you when you have to continue to take care of their affairs to close out their life.
Yeah. I'm so, so thankful that I had the opportunity to meet you. I am so, so thankful that you are providing this service, because it's very much needed. And also, kind of just going back to where we were, had you seen Paul lately?
No, I have not. Was waiting for another invite for another networking session. It was a Friday evening, so it was a nice way to end the Friday day of a long week to meet nice people like yourself and a lot of other business owners in the DMV, Prince George's County community. So it was a very nice outing.
Yeah,
And again, it
actually,
was nice meeting you and inviting me to do this to share and educate.
yes. And that's what it's all about, is getting out and networking and sharing information, letting people know that we have different individuals who can guide you and help you. Not all the time is it about a dollar bill. Sometimes it's just saying, I want to give you a helping hand. And that's pretty much what People to People, the talk show, want to do for individuals. We want to be able to connect with individuals like yourself, bring this information, let it not be something so stressful, but being able to say, hey, this is important. And this is something that we need to do. And
one of my other taglines that I use a lot is, which is kind of the theme of what this is about, is peace of mind, protect what you're building.
And say that again, a peace of mind.
Peace of mind, protect what you are building, what you're building.
Mm-hmm. Horace Williams said, generational wealth comes to play. You know, that's a lot. I don't all the time. I start to feel funny when I got to say, well, people of color. But let's keep it real. There's a lot of things that we weren't exposed to, and there's a lot of things that was held back, and we don't know. We have to start making changes in our life. We have to start doing the things that's going to benefit our children, where we have generational wealth to be carried on and passed on. It don't have to all the time be a building or a pair of shoes or socks, but it can be information.
Exactly.
Make life so much better. And that's one of the things that, again, that we at People to People, we look forward to doing. It's not just about your finances, but it's about your spiritual growth. It's about your health. It's about just having someone like Linda Green to call and say, hey, Linda, this is what's going on. I don't know what to do. And then we have an individual like you to say, you know what? Calm down, Rodney. It's okay. I'm going to send you to this individual, and we're going to help you find some inner peace that's going to make your life so much better.
Amen to that. Exactly.
It's amazing. Again, I find opportunities to meet individuals like yourself. And when I bring you onto the program, and this is what a lot of people think. They think when I'm interviewing someone that all I'm doing is just sharing information, but I'm also learning myself. See, I'm absorbing all of that information too. I'm taking it in because I want to have my children and my grandchildren to be able to have some peace and harmony among each other. Something happens to me. Right. And so, and I'm a man going to speak the truth. Me and my wife many times has started working on the wheel, and look, we kind of kick it to the side and be like, "Oh, we'll get it tomorrow." But who say we promise tomorrow? You know.
Exactly.
So that's something that I got to be very, very conscious of, and to be a man of my word, to make sure that I provide this for my children and grandchildren as well. And again, so Ms. Green, getting in just a little bit about you. So you are from the DMV area.
Yes, I was born in D.C. My parents moved my sister and I out to Silver Spring, Maryland. So I grew up there, and then I moved back to D.C. in the late 80s. So I've been in D.C. since then. So I'm seeing the good, the bad, the good, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, back in the day when it was Chocolate City,
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yep, it was Chocolate City.
That's when it was like, it was on and popping. And a lot of people don't know those were the great times.
There was a lot of different, it was a lot of respect, a lot of friendly neighbors, because a lot of our roots came from the South. So we had that Southern hospitality, and you were greeting your neighbors.
Yeah.
And so I see some of that loss in terms of just saying hi to people, regardless of who you are. You don't get always back because it's like, why is this person talking to me? You know. And back then, it's like everyone just said hi to you.
Actually, you could be back then. You could be standing at a bus stop or catching a cab, and come to find out that not only did this individual's a nice person to talk to, but it might have been one of your lost cousins or something,
Exactly.
And so we be, back then it was just amazing. And I remember just, it was so much information then that was shared. And the way that we did it, it was not, we didn't have social media. So we found ourselves just having good old conversation in the church or in the community centers.
Exactly.
And
Playing the game of cards, playing the game of spades.
yeah,
People are just talking, and next thing, like, oh, wait a second, that just happened in my family. How did you guys handle it? Or this is what we did. So we have to just communicate and let people know it's not a judging thing or whatever, but sometimes this someone could say one thing that can have a light bulb go off, and it's like, oh, I need to go do some more research on this. How can I use this for my family?
yeah. Well, communication is everything.
Yeah.
And again, I think that no child is too young for you to have conversations with about your wishes if something was to happen. But then no child is too old to be able to be put in a position to say, understand, I have a will and I have a trust. And they are in place to make sure that my wishes are carried out and that the family is going to be okay as I move forth. So all the individuals who just join in and come in, and especially when somebody just passed, they come in and they saying, "Oh, I know I ain't been around in 6 years, but I want that table because I bought it."
Right.
Or they'll say, grandma had a ring. I bought that ring for her, but you ain't been around in 2 or 3 years. But you got the individual who was there helping grandma go through the process, and they asked for the ring, and grandma say, okay, I'm gonna put it in the will. You write the will. When it's all said and done, it eliminates a lot of arguing regardless who bought it, how it got there. You have that will to say, hey, it's to go to this individual.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it's so important. So, Ms. Green, it was a pleasure just having this opportunity to talk with you. And it's in many cases that we'll find that a lot of people are not aware of how to move forward and get just get their ducks in order, get their life in order, and having a will, having a trust, having an individual that you could call and say, hey, I don't really know how to go about this. How can I do so? That's a blessing.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what you say, you always want to be prepared when they're going to write that last love letter.
Exactly.